Can you recall our previous discussion on cells and their environment? Awesome. Now, all living cells or organisms respond to things and changes within their environment. So we say that they interact with their environment. Now, remember an amoeba. When a marine amoeba, amoeba that lives in salt water, comes in contact with fresh water, it retracts its pseudopodium immediately. Now, do you know why? It's because the water is hypotonic to the amoeba and will flow into the amoeba and may cause it to burst if it stayed in that environment. Let's look at another example. How about the touch-me-not plant, or the mimosa plant as it's called? What happens when you touch its open leaves? It closes. Changes in the environment that cause a response in cells or other organisms, we call these stimuli. The singular is stimulus. And the ability of cells and organisms to respond to these changes in their environment is called irritability. This is important for cells to survive. Stimuli could include changes in light intensity, they could include temperature, touch, humidity, gravity, and chemicals, including food and water. Stimuli can also come from the cell or the organism itself in some cases. Now, when a cell or an organism detects a stimulus from within itself or its environment, it responds by carrying out a particular change. And this change is what we call a response. For example, the amoeba withdrawing its pseudopodium and the open mimosa leaves closing when you touch it. Those are responses. Responses can include movements in plants and animals. They can also include color changes or even secretions. The response could also involve the cell or organism moving away from light or wriggling away, as what happens when you touch an earthworm. But how fast can organisms detect changes in their environment? Now, this varies. Animals generally respond to changes faster than plants do. So now let's remember these very important three terms: irritability, stimulus, and response. So, if the open leaves of a mimosa plant close after being touched, what has happened? Now, did you say it has responded to a stimulus? If you did, fantastic. Now you have learned that cells and organisms respond to changes in their environment. In the next lesson, we'll discuss the kinds of movement responses some organisms encounter. I'll see you then.